Coming up on the Movie Film Show today, we've got a hell of a lot of Marvel news, including a trailer for Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. And I'll also be telling you where Emilia Clarke fits in the MCU. On top of that, we've got news of a new Haunted Mansion movie, because you know everyone wanted one of those. I'll be telling you about Vin Diesel's next big Rock'em Sock'em Robots project. That's also a thing. And there's even more Indiana Jones 5 news, but there's only one place to start this week, and that's with the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier is officially done. And my thoughts on it overall, I think that sums it up pretty well. If you watched the previous week's movie film shows, I've done a review of every episode so far. Wasn't too impressed with the first three. Episode 4 is pretty good. Episode 5 went back a step in my opinion, although I have seen that some people for some reason like that episode, which was weird. And then the finale, it was decent. It wasn't amazing. It hasn't set the world alight and it doesn't have me excited for season 2, but it was a finale. It finished. They wrapped everything up, I guess. They did some stuff I predicted. Last week I said they probably had to kill off Karli Morgenthau. They killed off Karli Morgenthau. They didn't kill off the new Captain America. Here's hoping, future series. But they did have a lot of good points. There is a new Captain America, I guess. A second new Captain America, and he's much better. If you haven't seen the finale of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, you might want to skip this section of the show, jump on to the next part, go watch the finale, come back, hear my thoughts on it, come back and then give your opinions. That's coming back twice at least. So that's a lot of coming back. But you get it. If you haven't seen it, you might want to skip this part. So this is where it's all been building to, this big attack in New York. The good guys are going to have to save the day, as per usual with the Avengers, although it's not that important because the main Avengers can't be arsed turning up. So it's up to the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they saved the day. Pretty much. Now, they left episode 5 on a cliffhanger. The post-credits scene, we saw John Walker making his own Captain America shield. And I asked the question last week, was it gonna be just a normal shield or was it gonna have the powers of Captain's shield? And it seems like it kind of had the same powers because he like threw it. I know he had super strength, but he was able to throw it and bounce it off things in the same way that the other shield was able to be used, even though he just made it in his backyard. Leading to the question of, can anybody make it in their backyard if they have the right materials and super strength? Guess so. Kind of makes Captain America not that special if anyone can just use the shield or make their own shield. They kind of set up at the end of episode 5 that John Walker was going a little bit crazy and he was perhaps becoming a super villain. But in this episode, he like started out where he was going after Karli Morgenthau and he was beating up people, he was getting beat up a lot. But then he saw a bus about to fall off a cliff and he becomes good guy again, to the point where even then he's having a conversation with the Winter Soldier like they're best buddies. And he's like patting him on the back after they help each other out. It's kind of weird. Although then again, at the end, he's with Julia Louis-Dreyfus' character. She's giving him a new suit and setting him up for a future series. But again, he seems kind of happy and like, I'm back type of thing. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? To be honest, I hope we never find out and never see him in the series again. I think he was just one of the worst characters of any series, the most unnecessary character. I don't think the series would be better or worse without him. I know he played a big part, but for the most part, he was getting in the way or he was a distraction. Between Falcon, Winter Soldier, Karli Morgenthau's group, George St. Pierre there for some reason as well, and Zemo's character, there was probably enough in there for the series. Could have done it without the new Captain America. Kind of could have been a whole separate thing. But this episode did have some good action and I found myself engrossed at certain points. And the big thing in this one, definite spoiler here, if you haven't seen the episode, you want to skip this part. But the big thing was the new Captain America, Falcon America, Captain Falcon. You know, the Falcon becoming Captain America, but also keeping his wings. That led to some very cool elements where he's able to use the shield while he's flying. He can throw the shield and fly out to catch it. He uses his wings, buries them in the ground and holds the shield at the same time. He's got some really cool powers and is set up really good for the future. Looks like he could be an even better Captain America because he has more abilities, or at least more tech. For the Winter Soldier, he's very much the sidekick for a lot of this. Again, kind of like the new Captain America. Would the series be worse without him? Could the series have just been called The Falcon? Probably. But overall, my main disappointment with the whole series is, we never found out if he got the bank loan. He never went to a different bank. He never looked up how he was going to get the money to fix the boat. They kind of started fixing the boat by themselves in episode 5, and then they never actually showed the boat working. That was the main story arc I was focused on, where he's going to get that bank loan, because, you know, apparently Avengers don't get paid. Now he's doing 2 jobs, so maybe he'll get double pay. Hopefully season 2, it's all about that bank loan. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, it didn't set the world alight. I don't think everyone was talking about this one as much as they were with like The Mandalorian or even WandaVision. A lot of people were talking about WandaVision, had some big hype around it. This one, not so much, because I think a lot of people got bored in the first couple of episodes. And you always live with hope with MCU stuff that they're gonna have something that sets up something in the future and you can look back on and go, yeah, that was really important. I think the new Captain America, the new Captain America is that thing. I think he'll become very important in the future. Definitely gave his character a massive upgrade, while the Winter Soldier is kind of in the same place he was when he started. I guess he's kind of a better guy now. And then the post-credits scene sets up for season 2 a little bit, with the power broker being revealed, and I assume that's a big thing. I didn't really pay too much attention to her character. So the scene at the end where Isaiah Bradley finally gets some recognition, that was a really good scene, adding some a little bit of a payoff to his story, I guess. I'm just wondering now if they're going to set up for kind of like a prequel to this, where we actually see Isaiah Bradley's story. We've seen the character, we've seen the man, we've seen the aftermath, we've seen that he eventually gets his statue. Now we need to see his story, and that'll be a very interesting one further down the line, hopefully. The episode, I think, was one of the better episodes of the series. There was only 6 episodes in it. You know, they kind of had to rush a lot of stuff in there, but at the same time, the show really dragged at times in certain episodes. The first 3 episodes, absolute garbage. Episode 4, much better. Episode 5, Episode 6, better, not quite as good as episode 4. Overall, I think the series, it has its moments, but it was nothing special, and I think it's definitely going to be considered one of the weaker MCU shows going forward. But it's over, it's done, and now we look forward to Loki, and Loki comes out in June, and I personally can't wait for that. We featured on the show already. The trailer came out a couple of weeks ago, doing a lot of hand movements now. Loki certainly looks a lot more interesting than Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hopefully I'm not going to be let down on that one, but we'll wait and see. But for me, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, that's my rating. But with that being said, let's jump into this week's movie news and trailers. And before we get too far ahead of ourselves and too far away from Marvel, there is a lot of Marvel news, as I said at the start of the show. It's been confirmed that there is a 4th Captain America movie in the works. The head writer of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which has now become Captain America and the Winter Soldier, has been confirmed as the writer of the new Captain America movie. So it stands to reason that the new Captain America is going to be Captain America going forward in the MCU, and he's going to be the star of the next movie, not necessarily Chris Evans. Although he might be back in like some flashbacks or something, or maybe he's on a base on the moon. We'll see what happens. Sticking with Marvel, Russell Crowe, who a few weeks ago I mentioned he's in Thor Love and Thunder, this week he reportedly leaked his role within Thor Love and Thunder because he was doing an interview, I believe with some Australian news place, and he let it slip that he's actually playing Zeus. Now you might realize Zeus, he's a Greek god. There's talk of the Olympians maybe starting up there. It could also be a misdirect. Russell Crowe likes to play games sometimes. Maybe he just slipped that in there as a little bit of a misdirect. But it could be a start of an interesting battle of the gods. I assume he's going to be a bad guy. I just assume he's going to be a bad guy. And yet again, keeping with Marvel have a show called Secret Invasion in the works. I'm not quite sure what it's about, but I do know that this week they added Emilia Clarke and Olivia Colman to the cast. And those 2 additions alone have me very excited for that series. 2 phenomenal actresses, have both been in some huge projects in the last 5-10 years, and are certainly some very exciting additions to the MCU. Although at this point it seems every actor in the world is part of the MCU. Just in recent weeks we've had Julia Louis-Dreyfus jump in there, Owen Wilson's going to be joining it in Loki, now we've got Emilia Clarke and Olivia Colman, just constantly adding to that roster of amazing talent within the MCU. And sticking with Marvel, for another story, it's been announced this week that Sony and Disney have agreed a deal that will see Spider-Man come to Disney Plus, because some of the Tom Holland films are not there yet, but now they're going to have the whole collection. You can finally watch all of the MCU on Disney Plus. But there's a snag to the deal, because part of the deal is that all the films go to Netflix first, because Netflix agreed a deal with Sony, they get first dibs. They're kind of getting sloppy seconds. Netflix get everything first, and then Disney can have it. Eventually, we'll get all of the MCU in one place. But Disney do have another project in development we've been talking about a lot lately, in Indiana Jones. Every week there's been a new addition. Phoebe Waller-Bridge first, then Mads Mikkelsen, and now Thomas Kretschmann has been added to the list as well, who you may know from the likes of Penny Dreadful. He was also in Peter Jackson's version of King Kong, and he was in Avengers Age of Ultron and various other films. So another addition to Indiana Jones. It's really coming together now. And the more people they add to it, the closer they're getting to shooting, the closer they're getting to shooting, the closer they're getting to post-production, the closer they're getting to post-production, the closer they're getting to finishing the movie, the closer they're getting to finishing the movie, the closer it's getting to the cinema, the closer it gets to the cinema, the closer it gets to home, then I'll watch it, then we'll see what happens. It's probably gonna be disappointment. But we'll wait and see. Indiana Jones is a movie I've been waiting a long time for. But a movie some people might be waiting a long time for, Downton Abbey. And fans of Downton Abbey can get excited because there is a sequel to the original Downton Abbey movie and TV series, of course. Downton Abbey 2 comes out this Christmas. So if you like that show, you've got something to look forward to this coming Christmas. Hopefully more than just that movie, but that movie as well. I feel like we haven't played a trailer in a while. Do you remember Billy Crystal? Yeah, it's been a while. Billy Crystal is back. He's directing a movie. It stars Tiffany Haddish as well, and it looks a little bit like this.
Thank you for bidding on me in the auction. I am so flattered that somebody your age would be a fan of my work.
I don't know who the hell you are. My ex really wanted to meet you, so he bid.
How much?
22.
$2,200? That's fantastic.
$22. It started at 20, and then it went up in 50-cent increments.
Why is your face suddenly bigger than it was before? Oh my God, are you allergic to seafood?
Oh,
She doesn't have insurance, and she really shouldn't be leaving here by herself.
Your daughter is going to be fine. Why did you tell the doctor that I was your father?
I was a little loopy by then.
That movie's called Here Today, and it's great to see Billy Crystal back on the big screen. He's been in some fantastic movies down the years, and hopefully he's got more to come. In other movie news this week, it's been announced that Disney are working on a reboot of Haunted Mansion. Because, you know, everyone asked for that. The last one went so well with Eddie Murphy. And it's been announced that the creator of Dear White People, Justin Simien, is going to direct, or at least create the show movie thing. Haunted Mansion, I can't see too many people getting too excited for that one. The original one was awful. I don't think there's gonna be too much hype around this one. It's a weird choice for Disney to go, yeah, let's remake that film. I guess they're saying we can't make it any worse than the original. You know, why not try it again, throw some money at it, see what happens. But speaking of a very odd movie to hear about, if I told you they were making a movie about Rock'em Sock'em Robots and it starred Vin Diesel, you'd probably think I was taking the piss. But that's a thing. Vin Diesel is working on a Rock'em Sock'em Robots movie. It's written by the guy who wrote the movie Rampage, and the story reportedly is about a father and son who form an unlikely bond with an advanced war machine. I think it's gonna be Battleship all over again. Just a complete disaster. Like someone sat down in a room and said, you know what would make a great movie? Rock'em Sock'em Robots. And we put Vin Diesel in it. And they thought that was a good idea. Now, who knows? Maybe it'll be the greatest movie ever made. It's more than likely gonna be one of the worst movies ever made, but it's coming. You know, get excited for that one. Rock'em Sock'em Robots starring Vin Diesel. Sure, why not? But a movie that did catch my eye this week that certainly sounds very interesting is that John Carney, the director of Sing Street and Once and Begin Again, one of my favorite Irish directors, he's working on a project with Martin Scorsese. And that movie is based on the iconic work of composer George Gershwin. Now, if you know of John Carney's work, you know there's a heavy musical element to pretty much all the movies. He's a very good filmmaker, good storyteller, who's built his way up and made some very good movies. Sing Street, I believe, picked up an Oscar nomination, I think for Best Music. Once, I think might have won for that. Both very good movies. And he's got a pedigree with integrating music really well into movies. So I'm really excited for this movie, whenever it comes out. Martin Scorsese's attached as well. This is certainly a movie to keep an eye on. I can't remember what the name is. The other thing to mention with this week's movie film show is that this show, unfortunately, is going out the night after the Academy Awards. But I'm recording it the day before the Academy Awards, so I'm not gonna know who's won by the time the show goes out. So it'll probably be next week when we react to those. But we can certainly talk about it in the comments. Let me know who won, who didn't win, who should have won. Personally, I'm hoping Promising Young Woman picks up a lot of awards and that there might even be a shock win for Best Picture with, you know, Soul coming out of nowhere. They're not even nominated, but Soul coming out of nowhere and stealing the Best Picture award, because I think it deserves it. That's just my opinion. Although, out of the nominated contenders, I'm hoping Promising Young Woman has a chance. It's probably gonna be Nomadland, and I'm praying it won't be Mank. But we'll wait and see what happens. So certainly a lot of interesting movies coming up. I'd love to hear your opinions on anything featured on the show today, and any trailers or clips featured on the show will be linked in the description below for you to check out the full clip or the full trailers. And I want to hear your opinions on everything featured here today. And if you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate if you shared it with some people who love movies, or hit that subscribe button, or even checked out another video on the channel. It'll all greatly help our channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it. But now I'm going to leave you with a clip from Marvel's new movie, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
I gave you 10 years to live your life. Now you see me rise. And where did that get you? You walked in my shadow. I trained you. So the most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you. Son, it's time for you to take your place by my side. You better watch out, 'cause it's my time. That's not going to happen. It's a new era, you second alive. You woke up the dragon. You can't outrun who you really are.
Who are you?